At the beginning, everything was white. And then, in God's deepest dream, there was a spark of fertility. Pachamama was birthed in time and space. And the earth school, our home, was created. And the fertility goddess Pachamama opened her arms for our place to learn our lessons.
Hey, hey!
Welcome, Spiritual Mag. Sam Bell. I'm here to introduce Dan Willis. Hello, Mr. Willis. How are you?
Damn, my good friend. I'm doing well.
Hey, I just turned 74.
Oh, hey, you're catching up with me.
I bring that up as a starter because I think it was like sixth grade. Fred Silva in my St. Leo's class did a science project, and it was about a computer chip or something like that. And when you were a child, we didn't, the internet, was Hopalong Cassidy and stuff like that. Now, same people, 7 decades later, you're communicating with an off-planet being in a normal fashion. Isn't that right?
Yes, this thought occurs to me ever so often. Our age group, we grew up with Forbidden Planet and The Day the Earth Stood Still and incredible science fiction movies, and now what used to be science fiction is now the new norm.
You just happened to be with the Disclosure Project 20 years ago, correct?
Yes, I was honored to join 21 witnesses in front of the mainstream media of the world at the National Press Club in May of 2001, each one of us stating we're willing to testify under oath before a congressional hearing which the Bush administration denied, to bring forth the scientists which we had within these black projects that were reverse engineering the extraterrestrial technology, and that could be of great benefit to all of humanity. But that was denied, and the mainstream media effectively sanitized it from the public's awareness.
Until they wanted to bring it back and put it into the public's awareness, like today.
Yeah, but nothing gets green-lighted through the New York Times,
Yeah.
Unless there's an agenda behind it.
Oh, absolutely.
But there's more than one agenda going on.
So my point is, in terms of, you're Dan and I'm Sam, two guys. I mean, you're nothing special. I'm nothing special. We're good guys, but come on, we're like regular people. So if
normal people, yes, that's
us. Yeah. So my daughters. So today, you're the same person, but you're talking about something that would be unbelievable not too long ago. And in that perspective, for the 18-year-olds today, where do you think they will be in 70 years?
Oh, that's a real interesting question, Sam.
I'm going to have one more after that. How did they get there? That's the next question. So where do you think they will be in 70 years?
Well, let's look at the first part of the question.
Yeah.
First, when you consider our planet's been hijacked, our information systems have been completely compromised. Our education, our mainstream media, everything has been weaponized, you could say, in a way that has kept one generation after another into this false reality. And I say it's a false reality because it's hiding the full picture of what's been going on behind the scenes. When you were a child, well, our parents, they used to watch Walter Cronkite, right?
Right.
On the television. And when you were a child, your parents watched it eagerly to see what was new on the news. And we, as we grew up and took that trust of what we saw on television into adulthood, so many people, after generation, it's only until recently that have the signs of a infiltrated network that is centrally controlled, that is not in interest of humanity, is controlling our information, mainstream media, and so forth. Big red flag went up for me when I found out that the the history of World War II was actually rewritten, which you'd think would be against the law, back in 1946 by the Rockefeller Foundation.
Yes.
So your second part of your question?
Well, the first question was, where will the young children in 70 years be in terms of spiritual evolution, social evolution with our off-planet brothers? Because when you started, they didn't even have Pampers. And now you're talking to Jen Ann. So you've got a dynamic range.
Yes, we have.
So where will they be in 70 years? Your guesstimate. The people that are living in United States.
Well, my hope is that soon, and according to our mutual friend Elena Danan, Thore has given the full disclosure plan to the Earth Alliance, General Van Herk, and that plan is currently actively rolling out, you could say. And no doubt there are dark elements that are wanting to, hijack that, spin it, and work it toward, other agendas. But ultimately, they will fail, I believe, because I believe their extraterrestrial overlords have, the Nibu and the Draco, the Sakaar Empire, have been removed out of our solar system. So their higher echelon support is no longer available to them. And so now it's up to the people of our planet to realize these enemies of humanity and take back control of our planet.
From specifically where you left off, does humanity have to exhibit the behavior to use the knowledge wisely to be able to get the new knowledge?
Well, I don't believe they're going to give us weapon technology right away. I think we have to, my own personal belief is that I believe we have to prove ourselves as, ready to be responsible.
It's mandatory
for that type of technology.
Yeah, it's mandatory. Are you ready for it?
Oh, yeah. Bring on the med beds. I'd say, revamp all the hospitals, put in the new healing modalities, get rid of the corrupt medical system with the pharmaceuticals that have been used. Let's get out of having to fly for 10 hours in an airplane where you can anti-gravity craft could get you across the United States in a matter of 5 minutes. We don't need rockets. I mean, we had, Nazi Germany had it in 1934. We had it perfected in October of 1954, 20 years later. But we have been using this primitive form of overcoming Earth's gravity to get into space using rocket fuel, which is so, yeah, it's incredible the engineering they do, right? But it's still,
Yeah, we just had
still
4th of
primitive.
July.
Right.
To advance on what you're just saying, so the first question is, where will they be? And then the second question, how will they get there? So neither one of those is easy. It's just a lot of speculation. I feel that elevating consciousness is essential. How about you?
Well, it's all about consciousness. It's all the technology that the advanced races use are based on consciousness and the interface of consciousness.
So if current technologies continue to abuse the environment, the consciousness probably will not be advancing. However, if the consciousness advances, probably the environment will benefit and things will get better, and our actual off-planet brothers and sisters will help us. Isn't that right?
I believe if we show that we can be responsible, that we will reach a state where we will be welcomed to join the Galactic Federation of Worlds, which is, countless number of races across the galaxy that have all agreed upon working in unison that supports what they created called the Prime Directive, which is a very, thank God, a moral-based ethical structure.
Yeah. So the duration for people to elevate consciousness could be slow, could be fast, could be kind of instant, actually, because off-planet brothers and sisters can do stuff. They're telepathic and such. They can do stuff that's pretty heavy. I say that because I went to bed one night. I was normal. Middle of the night, a light came out of my chest. I got all this, angels and stuff. So I changed it in like less than a second. It was like a body transplant. I know that you had, or you've referred to your extraterrestrial experience. Did you have an extraterrestrial experience or a UFO experience?
Yeah. Well, back in 1977, I had a Kundalini opening with a contact with a being that was giving me it feels like a kind of an awakening, a teaching of the geometry of the matrix.
Did you change?
Well, it put a burning passion in me to try to understand what this was about.
Yeah.
And at the time, I had no idea sacred geometry, platonic solids. I didn't have any idea.
Yeah.
And that's what hooked me up with Dr. Marcel Vogel and working with him with crystals, which obviously within crystals are, when people think of crystals, you also associate geometry with crystals.
Yeah.
And something specific about the clear quartz crystals have a geometry that have a key to understanding the matrix.
My limited understanding is, here I am standing.
We're both in that boat. Yeah.
Oh, you're married too. My limited, when I did the water ceremony at this portal in Peru, there's these two big rocks, and they've been there more than 7,000 years. And there's a big ring of rocks around it. Not a big, but a ring of rocks around it. So the guy saw the UFO land there. And anyway, I was in New Zealand. I got brought to Arizona to do a ceremony that was completely all tied into this event here. It was all geographically tied together. So when I went there with my Vogel cut crystal, you might have seen it in my video. It was spinning. Did you notice that?
Yes.
Well, what I do is I keep my crystal in a eyeglass case, and I take my dental floss, right, and I wrap it around neatly, and I wrap it in a silk scarf, and I keep it in there. I always do. And if I'm going to use it, I hang it, and so it doesn't spin or anything. It's all strung out. So it just kind of hangs there. So I was very delicate about taking this thing out, and it just started spinning like a nut. I was going, wow, look at this. I'm like, am I thinking about something or trying to get a question or something? And so I didn't go there with the intention of dipping it in the water, right? I didn't know what I was going to do because we don't have a script. That water is from the Kumbh Mela ceremony in India, where every 12 years, millions of people show up and do this sacred ceremony in the water. So this water is like really heavy water. So I'm trying to connect the planet with the water and the crystal. Are we in the right idea of what we're trying to do?
Are you asking me the question?
Yeah, I'm putting you on the spot, boss.
Well, as you and I know, and has been scientifically validated and off-planet validated, that quartz crystals and water, they interface completely with each other. They both have memory. And and there's like three elements that Jen Hanna-Redion pointed out with the core tetrahedral fractal geometry of the universe, which is the secret of the universe, is that love, quartz crystals, and water are all based on the same core fractal geometry, and therefore that's why they interface perfectly together.
I didn't know that. How heavy. So I think that's probably a good idea. The reason I'm bringing that up was it doesn't cost much, and you can use any crystal. And if you've got some love somewhere, just take it with you, get some water, pray on the water. And if people start doing that and requesting our off-planet brothers and sisters to help us individually, we all kind of do that with the crystals, right? Then at least the people who are petitioning for help will be thinking about it. And then there's going to be some help coming in, especially now, because a lot of stuff's going on. It's a good time for people to, become community and more compassionate for one another. So, okay, yes.
Well, it certainly wouldn't hurt.
All right, let's see. Oh, because when you did your program with Elena and you focused with the crystals, you kicked butt on the Schumann resonance. Remember?
Oh, when we did that on changing the planetary timeline. Yes.
Yeah.
And yeah, you did a great report on that.
Yeah. Well, I don't know about
yeah.
that, but it's a big deal because that proved it.
There is and also Jenhan, he confirmed that it did have an effect, and he did confirm that there is a reciprocal relationship between the Schumann resonance, which some people dub the Earth brainwave because it looks almost like an EEG chart of a brain, and the minds that are on the planet. And we know that the square root of 1% on the planet, which is less than 9,000 people of the 8 billion people on the planet, affects the entire collective mind. At least it's the kindling effect. It's the start of it. And so that's with no crystal at all. But if you were able to have a crystal that can open up a vortex into the singularity that connects directly into the planetary matrix, it amplifies the effect dramatically.
And how much does that cost?
What's
how
that,
much?
Sam?
How much does it cost? Nothing.
Yeah, your audio broke up.
I'm sorry. How much does it cost?
Merchandising.
No, it doesn't cost anything. It's just your unconditional love. and your
Yeah,
willpower.
yeah, I have zero financial interest in any of this. I just
No,
want
I
to
know, I
educate
know,
and help.
I know.
But
That's why you're the
our
conduit
friends,
for it.
if marcelvogel.org, there's a link to a crystal provider who has been following the work of Jen Han, and they've been instructing their cutters to cut it. And for under $150, you can get a crystal like this. It's a 6-sided cut in alignment with a hexagonal core with a 60-degree angle on the sending angle and a 52 on the receiving angle. And it's cut in alignment with the growth axis, the C axis of the crystal. And when they, I'll do a share screen real quick, okay? Am I cleared for share screen?
You cleared for share screen?
Oh, no, it's disabled.
Oh, sorry. Let's see. He's now you can attempt it.
Okay. Let's see, share screen. Still says it's disabled. Do you know how to, you go down to the share screen button and hit the allow, or however it says.
Yeah, Fernando's doing it. It's all in Spanish, so it's out of my league already. So I don't have a chance. I didn't even touch it.
Oh, too bad. I had some really cool images I was going to show you on the latest.
Give it a try, my friend.
Ah, there we go. Okay.
Cool.
Okay, so
Wow.
here you can
Nice.
see what happens when the crystal is cut in respect to the hexagonal core of the crystal. The two termination angles create vortices. One vortices this way, and the other one vortices in the opposite direction this way.
Yes.
And where they meet is a phase conjunction node that opens up this singularity, or this eye within the center of the vortex, that allows you to, let me see. I asked this question of Jen Han a long time ago, and of all the questions I've asked, this is the only one he had to get special permission. Let's see where we go. It creates it says it's not male and female. I was asking about the polar opposites creating
Yes.
an opening in the vortex, and he said it's not male and female as biological terms, but active, receptive. The two dynamics twirling in opposite directions create a phase conjunction tension that creates a singularity in the hologram, a convergence of infinite power. The singularity node is a bridge to alter the hologram of the universe. It is a small wormhole. The two spiraling molecular directions have to do with the power core of the crystal in its natural state,
Interesting.
not its ability to transcend densities and anchor into the holographic grid of the universe that works with the wormhole. The singularity is in the vortexial center, not metric center. The two triads are not equal distance from the singularity, nor symmetric either. This is Jen Hanaredian speaking.
Yes.
Because of their ratio, and their distance from the epicenter is determined by the different angles of inclination of the 2 points. It is not a physical node, but an infinite singularity, which is different.
Interesting.
It is best measured, but by feeling it directly, you already interface. If you first find it by measurement, you will still interface to it. He says it works by, this is an important statement. It works by finding the phase conjunction node inside the crystal by projecting inwards the geometrical shape of the two opposite points like a mirror. There is the vortex singularity of the crystal. This is the eye of the crystal.
Yes.
Focus your thought and energy just there, and you may project your consciousness to anywhere you wish in this universe and to
Holy
other
mackerel.
universes, to other densities, other dimensions. Anything is accessible in space, dimension, and time. This is great power, Elena. He's responding to my question to Elena. It is very important information. I am honored to be allowed to share this with you. He had to get special permission from the Galactic Federation of Worlds High Command in order to share this information, because it's very, very powerful. But the way it works with a prime directive is that unless you ask a specific question, they don't just tell you everything. You have to know what question to ask, and then if it's allowed, there are some things that are not allowed. But if it's allowed, he will answer.
It's the focus and the thought. It's the focus and the thought. You had a picture of Marcel. I think you posted it yesterday, and he was holding this round crystal and he was looking at it. He's just looking at it. So cool.
It's the crystal sphere I lent to him. He was doing some channeling work to try to get information from Nikola Tesla. And so I lent it to him for a couple of months. And I took that picture of him sitting on his favorite chair at home. The camera flash apparently illuminated the picture.
If I may continue. So you were there, you were disclosure, now you're working with Genhan. 70 years from now, we agree consciousness and things could be better. And so we asked about how long would it take? You had an experience, I had an experience, you changed, I changed. So now people that listen to this, they can go get a Vogel cut crystal, not break the bank. They can do a water ceremony. They can try to communicate using their focus and thought. And you probably will have some interaction during this lifetime that will help you change, elevate consciousness.
Did you have some unusual experience in 1977 by chance? Seems there was a lot of things going on back in that year.
No. 96 is
curiously, I didn't find out until decades later that Marcel was on a sacred mountain in India at the same time in 1977, also having a Kundalini opening experience. Did you know that?
No, I didn't. I'm actually quite surprised to hear that. Because I just think of him as in Santa Clara Valley as a scientist. Right.
He was given this message that that you are to ignite the flame, which is interesting.
Wow. So devoted. So imagine now, if you go to YouTube and the current stuff, there's could be about, I'd say between 3 and 5% something to do with UFOs or aliens or something like that. There's a lot of stuff now. Now, if you go in the mainstream news, every news show is going to have something about something with an alien or a UFO or military something or other. It's kind of hard to believe stuff that I don't believe, because nobody's talking about you need to elevate consciousness, about focus and unconditional love. They're not talking about that. So it's kind of like on your shoulders and Elena's shoulders and others are kind of carrying the torch to let people know it's about, compassion and patience. And
well, we have a civilization that has been kept in like a Truman Show kind of reality for so long. So they've got to psychologically ease it in. So they're saturating the media right now with the extraterrestrial awareness.
Yeah.
so that it acclimates the public to eventually start asking
Yes.
more questions and kind of ease it in, so that eventually we can have contact. But it needs to. But I'm sure it's done in such a way that it's this genius, brilliant plan that will roll it out in such a way as to do the least amount of psychological damage.
Yeah, it's for me when I had a extra not extraterrestrial but off planet an orb came from Orion, and it I wanted to ask you about this. You know, like people see something and they go, it just went, and it was gone, faster than anything. Well, the gentleman I was with, the Peruvian journalist, said, look at, we're doing a meditation in the dark. He goes, look at Orion. I don't know where Orion is. I don't even know what Orion is. I don't know. Somehow I know where it is. I look at it, it's this little teeny star, and it just goes to about the size of a golf ball at arm's length, which is like, and it just was like, boom. And my mind said, all I can think in my mind is, how big is that thing? And then my mind went blank and I had missing time. And then when I came back, the journalist said, I go, what happened? He said, well, they already knew who you were. They said to call you Daliman. I'm like, what the fuck? What the hell? And then my cameraman and my wife, they were in a trance. They couldn't talk. They couldn't remember anything. They weren't even with me. So my whole life changed in 1 second. So that sort of thing kind of sprinkles around the planet for people that get the Vogel crystal and do some nice meditations using their thought and their focus, That's what Jen Han's saying. That's why he'd need to get permission.
Yeah, in a future class, Selena and I will be working on,
Oh, good.
that with a group of people, which is
Good.
it's expanding, and we will get, they sold out.
I hope so.
Our friends at Crystal Light and Sound, who have been having these crystals cut in that specification, so they're backlogged, but they'll have more. But in the future, we'll have everybody. Before, we spiked the human resonance with people with glasses of water and, just regular old, crystal points like this.
You better get permission, bro. Hey, I got to break for a second. Don't go anywhere. Be right back.
Hi, I'm director of spiritualmag.org, Sam Bell. I'm a conscious spiritual channel. I have a rapport with my guardian angel, Daisy. Been channeling Daisy now since 1996. Also retired California licensed speech and language pathologist, 4 decades plus, and a bunch of other stuff. Anyway, before I'd have to sit with the person and blah, 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 it was a big ordeal to channel the guardian angel. I usually get like 1 a day or, it depends, it's kind of an ordeal. But today, with the tech, it can be done really quickly and easily and privately for you. So if you would like a spiritual reading for you, private, custom, me speaking into the camera, recording for you, spiritual information that will help you learn your lessons with the least amount of pain. I'm not going to give you any answers, okay? You have to figure out your own answers. It's your own school of, your own school of life. Now, if you would like a reading, go to spiritualmag.org. Go to the spiritual readings page. Duh. And complete. It's really easy. Put in your name, first, middle, last name. Your email, please be legible. Select what kind of reading you like. There's a couple choices there. Then take a white sheet of paper, a new white sheet of paper, a black pen, and write your normal signature like you sign a check. Yes, I said it, like you sign a check. I'm not going to try to attack your checking account, don't worry. But do your normal signature like you sign a check. Okay. take a picture of it, and then upload it here. And from that, you're giving your guardian angel permission to work with Daisy to try to get information into my head to bring you some information that should make your life better. Okay? So, you can also select a language, English or Spanish. It's kind of cool. And then there's a comment section. If there's something specific you want to try to focus on. Best if you don't put any comments, but if you want to put a comment, that's okay too. And we have a real simple system with PayPal. It's really simple. And we'll send you a private, custom link to your private recording by me communicating with Daisy and your guardian angel, if it's God's will, to help you get some information that will help you learn your lessons with the least amount of pain. Okay? As efficiently as possible. You and all your loved ones are always in my prayers.
Welcome back, Spiritual Mag. Sam Bill. I'm here with Mr. Dan Willis. This is part 2. Dan, some years ago, I was taking a neuroscience course to become a neurotherapist, and I spent about $70,000 on equipment. And I took a whole bunch of intensive courses by really intelligent people. And we looked at millions of neurons and billions of connections in between our ears. And they're looking at everything, going to smaller and smaller, looking at everything. They got to a point where they couldn't figure out how the connectors were connecting. And they came to the conclusion it was frill. And I went, frill? What the hell is frill? Do you know anything about frill?
Well, frill, according to, I'll do a share screen here so everybody can see what, it's a photorealistic image. It's not a photograph of that Elena created. This is what Jenhan Redian looks like. He's the younger brother of Thore Redian, who is currently on Mars right now, or in a neighborhood. He's working on terraforming operations. He's been going to a university in the Pleiades to learn how to terraform planets. He said that the quartz crystal element is the purest element in the universe. It is directly connected to source, and therefore frill comes from it. And so, you know, we started.
Wait a second, wait a second. Wait. You said it's directly connected to source?
Correct.
And that's why loves come from it or through it?
Frill, yes. Yes, because it's an interdimensional bridge, as water is as well, and love. You know, we started out with, as we work with the eye of the crystal, these are with silver electrodes that are connected into a function generator that's creating compression waves into the vortex that's opening it up. And there's a whole new story. That's one device that we created. I'm working with 2 science teams that are highly qualified. Jenhan has given the design for a frill generator. A frill generator is it's incredible. This is what Jenhan said about frill. I asked him. I said because I was thinking of. Now, we can't use this for power generation. It's too dangerous, as you and I know. But we can use it for beneficial purposes, you know, healthful purposes, like for help plants grow, to help heal bodies and that sort of thing. Frill, this is what he said. I asked him, my question was, I said, charging water with frill is a convenient way of distributing the frill to multiple plants through the watering of the plants, and even for human consumption as well. Do you agree? My question to Jenhan. His response was, I agree, for sure. You know, it sounds like a guy from the Valley, huh? For sure. Plants and other biological life forms, such as humans, naturally feed of frill that is present in the surrounding ether, as you call it. Increasing the frill supply has not only an energizing effect, it also heals. Where there is a wound or disease, frill level is weak. This water heals. In other words, if we charge the water with the frill, it can repair disharmonics in the body and give you back joy and determination when you need some. It extends youth. And so we, after quite a bit of exchanges on marcelvogel.org, you can, there's 117 pages now, question and answer. For over a year now, we've been exchanging information. He's given the detailed instructions on how to use pure silver and pure copper wires wired so that they are perpendicular to each other and create two perpendicular toroids of one's etheric, that is the silver field, and the other one's electromagnetic, that's the copper field, that interface into the lattice structure of the quartz, and it releases this frill. This is what they use on their planet to power everything. This is how they power their starships. And so I'll share with you a design from the current design of one of our team. Here we
Real
go.
simple terms. They take a crystal and put two different items on either side, and they get energy from it. Is that correct?
Can you see this okay?
Yes.
Okay. See, here's windings of copper going this direction.
Okay.
Here's windings of silver going this way. They're at 90 degrees to each other. You can see the tip of a crystal and the base of the crystal here.
Yes.
Right. And here's an overhead view showing the crystal. And this is how they crisscross, and then this is what it looks like on the other side. And this will generate the frill coming off the top of this. And let's see, I have another illustration here.
Quickie question. You described when you were on the airplane and the guy had the bad knee and you took the crystal and you were doing a little routine on it and his leg got better. Were you doing like frill therapy or something?
Oh, who was this? What was this? I'm sorry.
You described a time you were on an airplane and you helped the gentleman with the bad knee.
No, that was using Marcel's healing techniques, which I've spent the last 2 days going over all the articles, all the videos, just making sure, I've used it over probably close to 100 times on different people in different situations, bad backs, broken bones, and the different things. And so I wanted to make sure that I wasn't missing anything. It's like you don't want to assume that so I went back and looked at all his videos and all his things and just fine-tune it so I could summarize it and present it to Jenhan and ask if there's a way to enhance these procedures, and we felt they were effective, and if a better way of using it, healing, could be done. What I essentially did with the fellow on the airplane, I was going back to San Diego, was a football player. He's in pain holding his knee and going like this, on the plane. And Marcel just gave me cut this crystal as a gift to me, and I felt that, well, I've been given a gift, use it. So I told him that, I'm not a doctor, I'm an experimental scientist, disclaimer. Ask your doctor if crystal therapy is right for you, right? Or else the AMAs are going to come after you. And so what we did was did the procedure Martel trained, and we went into the area, and he did it. I facilitated him.
Okay.
What I
Okay.
was doing is I was bridging the dimensions with the crystal and assisting him with his consciousness to go into the core area of the problem, and then through breath is so key and important in this. We're able to release it and then repattern it back into the healthy pattern again. And he got off the plane, he pointed to me from his parents. He's like, that guy, he fixed my leg. That was my first experience. So it validated. That was my first experience that it validated that the techniques that Marcel shared with me did in fact work. And so, I used it a number of times after that.
Successfully, correct? Successfully, correct?
Yeah, most of the time, yeah, there's a large percentage was successful. Sometimes sometimes you have to go in more than once, to clear it out.
And how many times did you ask for money?
Oh, zero. No, I've never ever
Zero.
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 No, I never
Not a
associate
chance.
anything with crystals or disclosure with anything
Zero.
financially.
But
In
you
fact, the
used your
only time that I've ever accepted some money is because I'm going to be flying to Orlando, Florida in October with these two teams of scientists, and for the first time in the world, we're going to present and show measuring the actual frill generation, substantiating that the technology that Jenhan has shared is credible and scientifically verifiable.
Yeah.
And this is incredible. This is I am so humbled to be able to do this.
It's historic, bro. It's historic. And you're using the components of free will, your focus, your thought, and your unconditional love. It's not going to work if any of those things aren't there. It's not going to be mandated. It's not going to be forced. It's not going to be a profitable thing. It's not going to work that way. Because if you're working with source energies, it's like parental love for the child.
Yeah, you got to keep your eye on the prize. That's seeing our future timeline evolving into a more benevolent outcome for everybody on this planet. So that our things could be a whole lot better on this planet. And I believe that timeline is about to unfold, and the dark elements that have been interfering with mankind's evolution will be circumvented, and we can move forward and join our galactic neighbors in a most benevolent way. And with the med beds released, we can extend our lives hundreds of years. All diseases can be cured. The technology is incredible that has been withheld. Thousands, as you know, I spent 10 years meeting with scientists, inventors, one horror story after another, till I just gave up. They have such a control on any type of alternative energy solution other than nuclear, oil, and coal on this planet.
For financial reasons.
I'd say that's a secondary. The primary is geopolitical control over the entire planet.
Yeah. Now to the idea of these millions of Americans who received inoculations, and they may have no issues, or they may have anxieties about no issues, or may have issues. That's a motivation for individuals to tune in to what you're going to be talking about in Florida, because you're going to be sharing stuff for them to apply to themselves and their loved ones, especially now with the status of the the vaccination routine.
Well, this isn't a med bed. This has beneficial healing effects to it, but it's not like a med bed. There will, I understand, an Earth version med bed going to be at the conference, but
Ooh.
the stuff
Really?
that's on the moon, inside the moon, that Elena personally witnessed is technology that's thousands of years in advance, that can completely take you back to a complete healthy state. And even Prince Ea, or known as Inky, has given the template that was before Enil came in and took over control of our solar system and regressed our DNA so that we only live to be on an average 75 years on this planet, according to current statistics. We don't have much longer, but we'll have technology that seemed like science fiction being released.
Well, the timing's right. And that question I had earlier about what's it going to be like 70 years from now, be completely different. Completely different. Pollution in terms of oil, etc., will be, maybe it'll be completely eliminated by that time in 70 years. Who knows?
I think just this year alone, we're going to see some significant disclosures and movement toward a beautiful new world. And I'm seeing that there's a global awakening of these criminals against humanity, that I believe there's going to be probably like a Nuremberg type 2, where these people are brought to justice, so they're no longer their evil, diabolical plans for the rest of humanity are circumvented.
Yeah. Well, it's already started for sure. And Elon has contributed quite a bit. I have a lot of trust that Elon will do the best thing with helping with communication. I strongly feel that Elon is an ultra-terrestrial. That's a human being born on the Earth, but really is from another place very recently. So, and he's got good intentions, big time. So, at least I feel he has good intentions.
Like they say, judge a tree by its fruits.
That's true. That's true. Now, I'd like to know the name of the conference, the time and the location. If people would like to get more information, maybe they can watch it online or something.
Yeah, I don't know if there's any there's about 1,000 seats. I think there might be sold out, but it's galacticspiritualinformers.com. And I'm going to be joined with Elena Danan, Dr. Michael Sala, Chris O'Connor, my friend John Charles, my friend Tony Rodriguez, John Charles's wife, Melanie. Let's see. Anyway, there was so many people that I know I'm forgetting somebody. Anyway, there's some great friends that I've been in communication with for many years that I'll get to meet for the first time, because I don't do conferences. I'm only doing this conference. I get motion sickness. I have to fly from Oregon over to Orlando. It's on the other side, and I don't do well on airplanes. But this is worth it, to be able to bring forth this technology to the world. I'll endure.
Yeah, that's historic. It's historic. When you were 10 years old and went to the movies where you could see the 3 shows on the screen, it would be like a monster movie and a spaceman and stuff. It wasn't spiritual spaceman.
Yeah.
Spiritual wasn't even, you know what I mean? So now they are actually putting the word spiritual in the aspect of our off-planet brothers and sisters who actually do love us. It's such a bizarre story for most people. Like, what are you talking about? We're supposed to be afraid of them or something. I'm like, no, I don't think so.
Well, we know that all extraterrestrials are benevolent, like the Nibu and the Sakaar from they the reptilians that can be pretty nasty, that have been using us as a resource, hidden. A lot of people
Yeah.
say, oh, there's nowhere. We're not having alien invasion. We're okay, but they've been doing things underground and operating behind the scenes. So just like in World War II, we thought we won the war with the Nazis, but they basically infiltrated and and essentially got what they wanted.
Yeah. Yeah. It's well, it's horrible actions. We can't judge people, but their actions we can judge. So it's been some horrible lessons for people. Now back to the topic of spirituality. That's not religious, is it? Spirituality
You
is
froze
not,
for a second, Sam.
I'll start again. Back to the topic of spirituality. Spirituality is not religious, is it?
No, no, in my research of decades looking back in authenticated documents, I can see that the religious institute in Rome has been involved with the government in having containment on the extraterrestrial issue for a long time, going back to the 40s, 50s.
Right.
So there is a whole lot that we'll be learning that, or unlearning, that so many people have been so heavily indoctrinated into
Yeah.
certain religious dogma and so forth,
Yeah.
that will need to be brought up to speed onto what the real
Yeah.
reality was of our history.
Yeah.
And these institutions that have manipulated the information. I mean, there's good stuff that Yeshua was saying, that the kingdom of heaven is within you. What I've done, you too can do. His message was always one of love. But there's other things in the sacred scriptures that indicate that there was trickster, dark extraterrestrials that were taking advantage of their advanced technology and posing as gods. So all that will be eventually revealed, and
Yeah.
the world can be recognized that we're all equal. We're all fractals of source. No matter what galaxy you come from, we're all equal.
And we can't change that. It won't change. It's timeless. Dan, I want to thank you for your time today and sharing information about the frill. And I'm very enthusiastic about the conference because the med bed will be there, you say?
In October, I think it's 20th, 21st, and 22nd will be the dates. 3-day conference, and
Okay.
in
And
Orlando, Florida. And yes,
I'd like to share with the audience that Dan at his effort has put together, is it marcelvogel.org?
marcelvogel.org has links, to learn about Jen Hanaredion,
Oh yeah,
see the exchange communication log,
the real deal.
links on the recommended type of crystal.
The real deal. The real deal.
I need to start posting more information up there.
Okay. In conclusion, thank you so much. Say hello to your lovely wife, Rebecca.
I will. And good to see you from Peru again. Our internet connection's a little shaky, but
we did it.
We did it.
Okay. You and all your loved ones are always in my prayers.
I also honor our friendship, my friend.